So Buffett, back with another video. This time the spotlight is on Nigeria. Africa has a problem, and that problem is Nigeria. It seems no matter how much we try to communicate with Nigerians as Africans to help them understand that, guys, you are the biggest problem on this continent. Yes, we know we're still dealing with neo-colonialism and we have all of these problems. But Nigeria is the one country that will stop the progress of Africans because they have become burdensome to African countries. You got to understand, Nigeria has a huge population that they cannot take care of. You can't just keep having babies when you are failing to take care of your people, when you are failing to develop your country. And now Nigerians are basically making kids so that other countries can be burdened with raising them. They are burdening Africa, it's particularly the neighboring countries who are forced to take care of Nigeria by force, because Nigerians just go to other people's countries like it's nothing. They just flee their country like it's nothing. And it's not fair, guys. It's not fair that one country or some countries in Africa don't try hard to develop and change their situations, that they don't sacrifice to make their countries a better place. Everybody's so selfish and individualistic that they want to make their problems other countries' problems. No bravery in terms of staying home, figuring things out, and fighting for your country. No. They're just saying, no one can save this country, so we're going to become a burden to other countries until we bring them down. And now there's pushback. Usually people like to say, that South Africans are so xenophobic, which is a narrative. It's a lie, guys. It's an absolute lie. South Africans are not xenophobic. But there's a limit to how much South Africans can do for foreigners before it becomes too much for us to bear, to where our own citizens now no longer have access to public benefits because they are all being consumed by foreigners, legal or illegal. It doesn't matter. The point is, in South Africa, our systems are burdened by foreigners. And a lot of these people are not even running away from war or anything. They're just seeking greener pastures because they're too lazy to fight for the liberation of their own countries. And as South Africans, we've pushed back and said enough is enough. And we've seen other countries, African countries, doing the same. For example, Ghana is deporting Nigerians right now as we speak. Nobody calls it xenophobic when Ghana does it. Today, as we speak, 7 South Africans have been arrested in Zimbabwe for being illegal in their country. Nobody calls it xenophobic. Nobody's quoting, one Africa, we must all be one. These people only want to talk Pan-Africanism when they stand something to gain. But when it's time to sacrifice, you will not see them. They're going to flee to the next country. So don't tell me about Pan-Africanism. This thing is all nonsense. It's all a farce for selfish people that don't want to fix the problems in their countries. People have sacrificed. Remember, guys, the condition you get your country in is the inheritance that your forefathers give you. It's your job to protect that. And if it's a bad inheritance, it's your job to change it, to make sure that the next generation at least gets to inherit something with substance. Running away perpetually is not the solution. It never will be the solution, guys. And now we've created this culture in Africa, particularly Nigerians, who have a huge population, have created a culture where it's acceptable for you to run away from the problems in your country, for you to allow the government and your president to treat you however they want to treat you because you're scared of them killing you. But that's not right. You have to stand up and be brave. And if it means you die, then you must die for your homeland. You cannot come to South Africa to live a convenient life while your people are suffering. That's selfish. Go back home and go fix the problems in your country. So what we're seeing right now is that there's a lot of pushback from countries that are saying enough is enough. People are tired of Nigerians, guys. It's as simple as that. Particularly Nigerians, because their population is huge. They're around 300 million people. Sorry, is it 200 million or 300 million? I think globally they've got about 400 million. I mean, you cannot have a population this big and you don't know how to take care of your people, because that population is going to become the problem of everybody else that didn't have babies or that didn't have that many babies. You must respect us. It's out of control. Imagine we're staying in a neighborhood and we have one particular household that has 50 children that they don't know how to take care of. And all these children are running around in other people's houses and then now we are forced to take care of your children, even though that's not within our budget. We budget for our family, our children. But your children are coming, knocking on our doors and windows, forcing us to take care of them. And we can't kick them out, because if we do, then the police are going to be on our butts saying that this is wrong and unlawful, or we're going to get negative media and press calling us xenophobic. It's a manipulation, guys. If you don't know how to take care of your own people, stop having children. All of you must stop having kids. You can't take care of your citizens. Your citizens are burdening the entire freaking African continent and the world. The most banned visa in the world right now is the Nigerian visa, guys. Why? Why do you think people don't want Nigerians in their countries? And don't tell me about, oh, it's only the bad apples. One is too many, because for every one bad apple, thousands of lives get destroyed, because these people are selling drugs. They're compromising the futures of other countries. They're selling drugs, they're trafficking women, they're raping women, they've got baby making factories, they're hijacking buildings. I mean, the list goes on. They're scamming people of their hard-earned money. Nigerians don't want to work an honest day's and make an honest day's living. They don't want to work for a living and do an honest day's job like everybody else that's struggling and trying to figure it out. They want the shortcuts to get there. And I understand that it's because of the environment and how hard it is to live in Nigeria and to be Nigerian. But that's not our problem. We didn't say you must be born in Nigeria. We didn't pick your country for you. God put you there. So you have a destiny there. And you can't run away from it and burden our countries because you guys are scared of your government. Stand up to your government. Poke your chest out the way you speak to other people around the world. Nigerians are extremely rude until they're standing in front of their police officers. They're extremely rude until they're standing in front of their military. They're extremely rude until they are standing in front of their president. All of a sudden they become timid, which tells us and shows us and proves to us that they are capable of humility. So when they're disrespectful, it just means they don't actually care about you. They don't fear you. But when they fear you, they are very humble people. You see them in Nigeria, they cannot say a word to their own police officers and their own military because they get slapped up like little, yeah. So now we're going to watch a video by a Ghanaian. So you can't say, South Africa, you're xenophobic. Look, it's another country. It's a whole different country. This is not a South African saying this. This is a Ghanaian saying it's enough. The title of the video is Ghana is rough, but Nigeria is just problematic and shameless. This is the biggest problem with Nigerians. They have no shame. They will burden your country and be unapologetic about it. They will be an inconvenience to you and be unapologetic about it. It's disgraceful. But let's listen to this man speak passionately as a Ghanaian about how Nigeria is a problem in Ghana, and not just in Ghana, in West Africa. I want you to listen very closely, very carefully to what this man has to say. Tune Network.
And is connected to any Nigerian authority. And I mean it. I want them to see this. So kindly do me a favor. Please forward this link to them. Thank you. The topic for this video is how shameless and problematic Nigeria is at this point. I first of all know you would want me to mind my business and talk about my own country, Ghana. But listen, I don't really care about what you think. And if you haven't checked in my videos, I talk more about my country than any other on this platform. But at this point, it's not just silly and problematic how miserable Nigeria is. It's becoming for all of West Africa. And if you feel agitated already for my choice of words, wait and hear the rest of all I have to say. Let's get into it. Nigeria's population is a national security threat to every neighboring and West African country. As of March this year, Nigeria's population is more than half the total population of West African countries. More than half. This means on any given day, the influx of Nigerian citizens to any West African country will easily swallow up the entire local population. This is why every country in West Africa needs to have a say in what goes on in Nigeria, on the backdrop of the fact that they like to travel, ladies and gentlemen. They like to move, and they are moving in numbers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, two major situations are making Nigeria look scary to the rest of Africa, especially the neighboring West African countries. And I said two major things. But first, let's put aside the lack of stable electricity and inflation for now. Those are regular problems everywhere that every country in Africa has to deal with. However, the two worrisome situations brewing in Nigeria, which threatens the sovereignty of other African countries, has to do with the religious extremism and poverty. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you to again hold back on the insults for now, and also put down your biased glasses and hear me out for a minute before you come in. Are you aware of the number of Islamist jihadist groups operational in Nigeria as of 2025? Let me give you the list, ladies and gentlemen. It started in the year 2000 with Boko Haram, whose aim is to establish an Islamic state in Nigeria. Then the first splinter group from Boko Haram, called Ansaru, was formed in 2012. After Ansaru came the next splinter group called Islamic State West Africa Province, aka ISWAP, which started in 2016. Darul Salam also came in from the Niger Delta, and then the multiple Fulani militant groups came in. Just when we thought these groups were too many to handle for one country, then we hear of a group originally from Mali and also operational in Niger moving in to Nigeria. They are called Lakurawa. The situation appears to get worse by the days, from one bad jihadist group to a worse group. Ladies and gentlemen, is Nigeria becoming, or already become, the main breeding ground for all terrorist groups in Africa? What's going on here? When other countries are thinking of ways to create conducive environment to entice foreign investment, Nigeria is rather enticing terror. Let me ask you.
I mean, think about that. Other countries are trying to entice tourism. Nigeria is trying to entice terrorism. It's insane when you think about it. You know how hard countries work to try to entice tourism so people can visit their countries. They try to present their countries in the best possible light to promote tourism. Then you got Nigeria that are working overtime with splinter terrorist groups to attract. I mean, think about it. When terrorist groups come to your country from other countries because they are so enticed by the level of terrorism in your country, I mean, this is. Yo, hi, guys. Now, imagine these people are also flocking into South Africa. You heard this man say, if it's one or two Nigerians, it's not a problem. But when 1 million come at one time, that threatens your sovereignty. Guys, that's an invasion. That's not traveling like Nigerians like to say, we like to travel. No, you are invading people's countries. And that becomes a danger to your sovereignty. Before long, they start to skew the voting system, right? They start to enter influential sectors in your country because they're going to come in and make babies, and these babies will be first generation, second generation, like that. Things start changing in your country. The culture starts changing as well.
This. what conditions are making the northern part of Nigeria so enticing to these groups in the first place? Because this is where almost all of them are situated. Every day I read the news in Nigeria, I get terrified. Every time. Because the spillover of these groups will directly enter all the nearby countries. These are countries in West Africa. This may include the sprinter groups moving to other countries, or the citizens of Nigeria abandoning their own homeland for another. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a serious issue that needs immediate continental concern. Nigeria is a friend of Ghana. Nigeria is a part of ECOWAS. When they are moving into your country, we cannot turn them away. But when 1 million moves in at one time, what then becomes the fate of the host nation's security, sovereignty, and economy? And this can happen on any given day, ladies and gentlemen. And what actually terrifies me is this. I don't see any real political actions or steps taken by the leadership of the country to deal with the situation. You don't hear of the presidency talk about strategies. You don't hear of governors talk plans, and senators the same. Where are the marches, ladies and gentlemen, and the demonstrations on the streets to force the hand of the government to face it head on? Where are they? It's like the fate of the people in this country is in individuals' hands. Those with the resources may hire armed officers for their personal security, and those who don't have to live carefully and away from certain hotspots. Ladies and gentlemen, is this the best Nigeria can do in their own country? Day in, day out, all we hear is kidnapping, robbery on buses and even on trains, village killings, and so on. Is this ever going to change in Nigeria in the nearest possible time? Nigeria currently ranks 10 on every type of crime list in the world. Talk about cybercrime, organized crime, financial crimes, and extremism. You will find them on the top 10 list of all of them. What type of society?
You know, Nigerians will tell you, oh, it's just a few bad, rotten apples. Guys, you are top 10 on every type of crime internationally. Stop downplaying how serious this problem of Nigeria is. Nigeria threatens the security and sovereignty of not just the neighboring countries, of African countries, and of the world, because they have such a big population that is invading other countries in the millions. It's not just a couple of Nigerians entering. They are sending their men to come and have babies in other people's countries. This is serious. And like this man just said, why are host nations' governments not doing something about it and showing us at least a plan? They are just letting it happen. We can't just say, it's one Africa, one Africa. No, countries are being colonized and invaded by Nigeria because Nigeria cannot fix their country. It's a crisis situation. It's a crisis what they're dealing with in Nigeria. It's no child's play. So I think collectively as Africans, we need to come together to talk about the problem that we are facing in Africa. That problem is called Nigeria. What do we do with this country? It's messing up the continent. They use people, the passports from other countries in Africa to go overseas to commit these crimes, to give those countries a bad reputation. Africa has a Nigeria problem.
Are you building? On the criminality index on ocindex.net, you are 6th out of 193 countries, 2nd out of African countries, and number 1 in West Africa. You are ranked 19th among the least peaceful countries in the world, and nothing shows it bothers you, especially they that hold power in the country. Omanaja.
Nigerians, you cannot look at such statistics and say, but there's crime everywhere. No, guys, you have a problem. Acknowledge it. You have a crisis as a nation. You have a crisis as a country. People can't live in Nigeria. Not even animals can live in Nigeria, let alone humans. That's why people are fleeing. But unfortunately, we cannot become your problem because you are mismanaging yourselves and you're not holding your government accountable. Tinubu runs the country overseas. He runs it remotely. He doesn't even live in Nigeria. That is an insult to the people of the country. When are Nigerians going to stand up and die for their freedom? That's what this is going to require. Radical change. Gradual change will not get it done. Like you heard the different crimes that these Nigerians are known for. I mean, in Nigeria, there's kidnappings. They've taken that culture of kidnapping, trafficking, killings. They've taken it to other countries. We know about it in South Africa because we have the same problems with Nigerians. And they'll tell you it's just a few rotten apples, just a few bad. No, man, you look at the stats. You guys are in denial. And that's the problem. Until you acknowledge that you guys have a problem, this thing is not going to get solved. Stop downplaying how serious this thing is. You know, Nigerians, no matter how many stats you show them, they're going to say, but you also have crime in your country. You're not perfect. I mean, there's something wrong with these people, man. I swear, like clinically, something is not right upstairs.
What's up? When you finally get the chance to vote for a president who may bring a difference to the country, you reject it. You vote the same type of leadership in every election and the problems continues. Why won't you try change? Why can't the people try what Ghana did? You come out in your numbers. You create your own coalition centers. You protect the ballot boxes at all costs and ensure a free and fair elections for once in your lifetime. Because if you as a regular Nigerian don't like what's going on in your home country, you have to do something about it, ladies and gentlemen. That cannot be done by anyone else but yourselves, unless it benefits you. What's the ultimate goal here? When you have chosen democracy as your system of governance and it's only making life a living hell for the majority of the people, what is the plan?
I love this reasoning. You know, Ghanaians are just highly, highly, highly intelligent people, highly moral people. So this line of reasoning is beautiful because he's asking a very good question. Nigerians, when you guys run away from the problems in your country, who is going to solve the problems of Nigeria? Who must fix the country? Other countries are working hard to fix their own problems, but you guys are running away. Who do you expect to solve the problems of Nigeria? Who must solve your problems, Nigeria? I'm asking you guys. Who do you expect to solve your problems? I'm curious. Every other country, they are trying to solve their own problems. Nigerians are busy running away, acting like they like to travel. No, it's not travel. You guys are escaping your country. But when you run away, who do you expect to solve your... I mean, I cannot understand Nigerians that are living in America and in Britain and South Africa with good, high-paying jobs, boasting, bragging, driving expensive cars. Your country is burning. Your country is dying. Do you not care for your citizens and the future of your country? Have you no shame? Have you no pride in your country? Nigerians will say, oh, we're so proud to be... No, you guys are not proud to be Nigerians. That's why the first chance you get, you want to change nationalities. Who's going to fix the problems in Nigeria? What's the plan to fix the problems in Nigeria? We need to hear it from you, Nigerians, because you cannot leave it up to other countries to solve your problems. And then you call other countries lazy, but you guys are running away from the work you have to do to fix your country. But we are lazy. Ridiculous.
Plan, ladies and gentlemen. This is disturbing. Now, on to the second situation that is of equal concern as the first. This is about the level of poverty in Nigeria. You have more than 40% of your total population living below the global poverty line of $2.15 per day. That's more than 100 million people. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a national security crisis. To have more than 100 million people who don't spend up to 3,300 naira in a day is problematic for the state's economy and for the people themselves. And here is how. The 3,300 naira per day will include your transport fare in and out to work if you have one, or to school, your breakfast, your lunch, your supper for one person. And so when that's not possible for more than 100 million people, then there isn't much these 100 million people are doing to contribute to the economy of the local state. People must work, produce, buy, pay taxes, and all of that, which runs the local economy. And that explains why countries whose citizens spend more do better than countries which citizens spend less. This is economic fact. Economic activities thrives off of demand and supply, buying and selling. And so when purchasing power drops, supply power is affected. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to that is the low rate at which Nigeria's economy is growing. With the kind of population you have and expected to have in the next 10 years, your economy cannot survive on a single-digit economic growth in a fiscal year. Currently in Nigeria, your country is growing on an average rate of 3.4%. 3.4%. That's super slow for your size. You need to move that thing to more than 10% per annum and sustain it over a decade to meet the surge ahead. Your country's population is projected to hit 290 million in the next 10 years, and that's adding at least 50 million more people to what you have now. So the pace you are running will have to change.
I mean, it's such a brilliant video. He's just breaking it down logically for Nigerians to understand. What's concerning is that it's not Nigerians who are talking like this and talking about how there's a crisis and it needs to be addressed and what's the plan. Nigerians are not having this conversation. Nigerians are going to tell you, oh no, we are very proud to be Nigerians. We're the giants of Africa. How? How? Let's talk about things that make sense, Nigeria. Let's talk about the population growth you have and people living below the poverty line. Let's talk about things that actually make sense. Don't talk about, oh, we have Burna Boy, we have Davido. You know, I heard somebody telling me that Nigeria, the GDP relies almost exclusively on people overseas who are sending money back home. I mean, at what point do you say, okay, we've acquired enough skills overseas, let's go home to ply our trades, to use our skills to build our country? When does Nigeria take responsibility for themselves, man? These people can't take care of themselves and they've become everybody else's problem. They are literally stealing nationalities from people so they can go overseas to find greener pastures. Imagine. They go to one country to get a passport so they can go to another country as the final destination. This is insanity. As you want to do all of that as opposed to just staying home and fixing your problems? How does that make any sense? I want to hear Nigerians talk about how they are going to solve the problems in their countries. These are the conversations I want to hear from Nigerians. Nigerians are worried about what's going on in other people's countries. No, fix your country, guys. You have
change immediately. From 2020 to 2023, the average unemployment rate was over 39% of the capable workforce until last year, when the new administration by Tinubu had to revise the method for calculating to reduce it to now 5.3%. Whether that is accurate or not, the reality of the people hasn't changed, and that's a huge problem. Ghana and every other country for that matter have our own problems to deal with, but at least not with the numbers Nigeria comes with. The very fact that these two situations I've just described has a direct impact on all neighboring countries is what has triggered me to do this video, because the rise and success of Nigeria is in the interest of all African countries. In the same way, the fall and demise of Nigeria is detrimental to all African countries, ladies and gentlemen. Therefore, whether it offends your pride as a successful Nigerian who doesn't like your country being talked about in a negative light or not, that's not only up to them or you to determine what others may say, because once there is a problem in your country, everyone will feel the impact. Just like it said, when Nigeria sneezes, every African country catches cold. Folks, I want to read your opinion on this matter without insult.
Brilliant video. Guys, please go and support. It's the Toon Network. He makes incredibly insightful videos, provides you with stats, gives his own opinion. A much needed channel for Africa in general. So please support, go and like and subscribe. And yeah, so there you have it. You know, for you rich Nigerians that have run away from your country, you're living somewhere abroad, you're earning pound, dollar, rands, go fix your country. You cannot escape. People are going to continue to hold you accountable. You can't keep saying I'm a proud Nigerian while leaving your country in the condition that it's in. That proves you're not a proud Nigerian. That's why you ran away. A proud Nigerian stays at home, fixes their country. So when you travel knowing that at home things are in order. You don't travel leaving your house in shambles and saying, oh, but I'm proud to be where I'm from. You're not proud. You're ashamed of your country. And we know it. So please stop lying to yourselves. Stop trying to lie to us. And go home and go address the issues that your country is facing. We are here to help. Like you guys like to say, we're all Africans, we're all brothers and sisters. We're here to help. But we cannot enable you. We will not allow you to use us and manipulate us and gaslight us into giving you a way out of these problems that you have to face in your home country. You know, during apartheid in South Africa, not every black person wanted to fight for the liberation of the country. People had to be forced to march, forced to fight for the liberation. It's getting to that point right now for Nigeria, where African countries, where neighboring countries, West African countries, South Africa, we're going to force Nigeria to go back home, Nigerians to go back home and focus on their own countries and fix their own countries. We cannot allow you guys to have a way out anymore. No, we cannot give you guys respite. You must face your government. You must face your countries. You must face the law enforcement and authorities. You must face the police and the military. There's no way out. Fix your country.